Hey, Walter Rochester here. So this week we are talking about the topic, no depression please. We don't want anyone to be depressed during this pandemic. And today I wanted to share with you two particular principles that can really help you, aid you with regards to getting out of depression if you are already there. So definitely share this with someone who you think this is going to help, and pay attention to the two principles. All right, so the two principles I wanted to share are based on this. Let me give you an illustration first of all. If you are going to turn a room into an office, for example, but your room has a lot of junk in it, what will you do? Well, you'll go into the room and you'll remove all of the junk first. You'll make sure it's clean, and then you'll begin to move in your nice office furniture, get decorating done, painting, whatever it is. And that's the same thing that you need to do with your mind with regards to depression. First of all, you need to vent, find some way of going through some sort of therapy so that you can clean up your mind from all the sadness and all the pain that you have been experiencing. Once you're done with that, the second principle comes into play. That is making sure that you have fun. Practice venting and also practice having fun. In other words, do activities that bring joy to your mind. So in terms of the venting part too, I want to mention this. If you are going to vent, there are two really powerful ways to vent. The number one way I have found for venting is prayer. And even the National Review, I believe they agreed with this. They had an article with regards to the fact that people who pray tend to handle stressful situations and are able to overcome life's difficulties better than those who don't. So prayer is very, very important, right? So if you could pray and pour out your heart, as the psalmist says, to your Creator, then that will certainly help in terms of venting. Not to mention, if you do truly have faith in your Creator and He does answer, something awesome or miraculous can happen, right? But just the act of prayer in itself, in terms of venting and pouring out your heart towards your God or your Creator, that helps entirely, right? The second way or important way you can vent with, I believe, is through counsel. So I mentioned before, seeking out a medical professional, of course like a doctor, to ensure that there's nothing physically wrong with you. And in yesterday's video I mentioned that it may not be that your depression is emotional or spiritual. It could well be that there's something physically off, and therefore the doctor would be able to diagnose that particular problem there. In addition to that, in addition to seeking out medical attention, you can also definitely seek out a professional counselor, a psychologist or so, and that way you can deal with your emotional, psychological, mental problems, right? And deal with it there. If the problem is something that is spiritually based or your soul is hurting in some way, of course, you can seek out a pastor like myself or any pastor that you can find who has a good enough reputation and you believe that they can help you in some way. So go ahead and seek out counseling. So the first way to vent, the strongest way to vent, is through prayer. Pour out your heart before God. And the second effective way for you to vent is through seeking out counsel. And of course, if there is a situation where it is mental, but it can be effectively medicated, then you do want to seek out a psychiatrist in those cases as well. So those are 3 or 4 avenues that you want to check out if you are depressed and depending on what the situation is. But do vent. And then the second principle that I brought forth was to make sure that you're having fun. Practice venting, but also practice having fun. Find activities that you can do, even if you're in isolation, that will bring you as much joy as possible. For example, you could watch comedies, right? Maybe a comedy movie or a comedy series, binge watch something on Netflix, whatever it is. If it makes you laugh, if it makes you happy on the inside, then definitely do that. Of course, you could visit places that you've always wanted to go. Of course, you can't do that physically right now, but you may be able to do so online through Google Maps or other websites or travel websites. You can just check out those places. You can also give a call to someone who you like being around or you enjoy spending time with. Call them, text them, WhatsApp them, Facebook time them. Whatever you need to do, FaceTime them, sorry. Whatever you want to do, try to reach out to people who you experience joy around, right? And that will be one way to redecorate your mind, so to speak. So it becomes the office, the space that you'd like to be in, as opposed to somewhere with junk. Remember, you have to do these two things. The two of them work in tandem, right? You have to first clear out the junk that is in there. That's why you're doing counseling. That's why you are going through some form of therapy. That's why you're pouring out your heart before God. But you also want to replace the junk that you clear out with something that's fun, something that's joyous. There's a proverb, or part of a proverb, that says that a joyful heart does good as medicine, right? And there's another part of another proverb that talks about the fact that hope deferred makes the heart sick, right? So, but when the desire comes, that's like a tree of life. So I'm just paraphrasing there. But in all actuality, if your hope has been deferred, if it's been put off, then that's going to put you into a really depressed place. It could put you in a very sad place. So you want to begin planning steps towards having those hopes actualizing, right? Make it an actual goal with an actual action plan, right? And in the meantime, make sure that you're venting, but make sure you're always clearing back out clutter of sadness and of pain, and replacing that sadness, that pain, with joy. All right, with fun activities, with things that will bring happiness to you. Some people worship, some people read, some people just do different things. But plan. Practice your fun, right? Plan to have fun, right? And ensure that you get out of this depression. This has been Walter Brian Rochester. I hope this encouraged you.